So reason number one why I decided to not be a full-time influencer anymore is honestly money. This came down to stability and my long-term goals, and I felt like I could just reach those financial goals quicker if I wasn't an influencer, essentially freelance, and I just had a very stable and traditional job. I honestly think that in order to be a full-time influencer or just work in freelance in general, you have to be very savvy with your money. Like, you have to be financially responsible because your income will ebb and flow so much. I had months where I made more than I ever thought was even imaginable from sponsorships, and then I would have months at like the start of the year or just, like during those dead times where I would honestly have like maybe one sponsorship and I didn't really have any money coming in, so I'd have to be really smart with my finances and just like budget everything to a T. I also may have jumped into being a full-time influencer sooner than I wanted to, and I had to bust my ass to honestly make as much money as I wanted to every month. I was taking on, I'm not even joking, like 12 sponsorships a month just to make ends meet, and that was just not the vibe for me. So yes, you can do it if you think that you're making enough per sponsorship, but really ask yourself, like, how many sponsorships do I need to take every single month? Am I willing to do that? And what happens if I don't get that many sponsorships? And I did have multiple streams of income. I was doing Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I had Google AdSense from YouTube. I had my Like to Know It, and my affiliate links were starting to do really well. So even though I had multiple streams of income, sponsorships were without a doubt like 80% of my income. So if I wasn't getting brand sponsorships, things were rough. On the same note of money, I am 25 years old and I could not tell you the first thing about health insurance, retirement, anything like that. But I knew that I needed those things and I did not have them as a freelancer. Luckily, I am still on my parents' health insurance. God bless that. And I don't know, unless you have a significant other who has a more traditional job and could provide health insurance, a 401k, all of that kind of stuff, I don't know how you're going to figure it out. I'm sure there are ways to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to have a job that could provide all of that for me, with benefits at a discounted rate, with retirement matching and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, as a freelancer, I really don't know how you get that. Okay, this one's going to sound like a first world problem, but we need to unpack it. Being an influencer is, I don't know, it can be such a materialistic and shallow job at times. And this is coming from someone in like the fashion and beauty space. Like, my job completely relied on me keeping up with trends, constantly buying new products and trying things out and sharing them with people and saying, hey, this is the next best thing, this is why you need it, blah, 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 getting PR all the time. And it sounds amazing. Like, it sounds so great to be paid by your favorite brands, and it is. I'm so honored. It feels amazing to be getting free products all the time, but it just hit me at one point that I was so incredibly fatigued by capitalism, I guess. And as I get older, I really just wanted to take a step back and think about what is truly important to me and what I want my platform to be, why I'm sharing the things that I'm sharing. And I don't want to feel like I need to post to make money and that I need to buy things to make money and I need to buy things to stay relevant, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just took a step back from it all and I feel so much better for it now. Like,
why do I feel low-key nervous to post this? Let's talk about why I'm quitting being a full-time influencer. For context, I've been full-time with lifestyle content here and on Instagram for about a year now. I'll also say it's been going really well lately. I've had awesome brand deals and I've been making more than I made at like any of my previous jobs ever in my life. Mind you, I am so grateful for these platforms. I'll never stop posting fully. It's such an incredible privilege and the opportunities it's brought into my life have been just beyond my wildest imaginations. But let's talk about why I just can't do it full-time anymore. Number one, by far the biggest reason, is I cannot make everything about myself anymore. This is horrible for my mental health. As a lifestyle creator, you take pictures and videos of yourself while you talk about yourself, and then you edit those and you stare at yourself, and then you respond to comments about yourself, and it's just about you all the time. First of all, that gets boring because I'm not obsessed with myself, but second of all, I'm just like not that interesting sometimes. Sometimes I don't have really big plans or I don't have anything profound to say, and I'm like, what do I record today? And I used to be a nurse and I had to miss holidays with my family, so I'm super grateful for the flexibility of schedule. But unless your friends are exclusively influencers, that leaves a lot of time for you to just be alone, and I miss having coworkers. And I feel like it sounds kind of weird, but I miss struggling, I miss being challenged, I miss focusing on something outside of myself. And that's not to mention the pressure you feel when your income, your livelihood is based on how pretty and cool people think you and your life are. I don't care how confident you are, if you spend your days staring at photos and videos of yourself and editing them and posting them and getting feedback on them, you will find things that make you miserable about your appearance. I want to re-emphasize how grateful I am for this platform and the opportunities and how much fun, honestly, I have making content. Like, I love this. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do yet. I'm just going to explore some opportunities outside of full-time lifestyle content. So much fun for me. It just can't be my 100% daily focus because it's driving me insane a little bit.
Hi guys, welcome to this channel. As you have seen in today's video, we are going to be talking about why most influencers are choosing to quit full-time content creation, and they are choosing to take on normal jobs right now, and we want to find out why.
I think we're witnessing the end of the influencer era, and this is coming from someone who works with them. Let me explain. The thing that's happening is that the content surrounding lifestyle has become a loop. Everything is so repetitive. You will see the same products, the same aesthetics, the same way of presentation, the same routines being presented by everyone over and over again. So what was once working because it felt aspirational now just feels replaceable and is falling flat. It's not just the consumer that is getting tired of this, but it's also the algorithm who's been rewarding novelty more and more. As a brand owner, and from what I've been noticing and reading, I can safely tell you that in 2025, brands are looking for value creators. So creators who have careers, who have businesses, who have a special perspective on a certain topic, creators who have a very specific niche. So they want someone who gives perspective, not just product placement, because product placement creators are everywhere. And I see this shifting even with the influencers that I personally choose to work with. I want the creators that represent my brand to actually represent values, to represent work ethic, to represent a very specific perspective that I feel is shared with my brand. I've worked with influencers, I've seen the numbers, and the return on investment just isn't the same as it was before, unless the creator is offering something more. Creators who are essentially experts in a given topic or a given niche just know how to build a better trust and better presence with their community. So it's not necessarily the end of creators, but the future of influencing isn't just going to be pretty pictures. The people are asking for people who stand for something.
Hey, okay, so I just watched a video by an influencer who is not an influencer anymore. So basically she had a 9-to-5 job, and then she quit her job because she was making more money as an influencer, and then it's been 2 years as a full-time influencer, and now she's going back to a 9-to-5 job, or just going back to doing something. And a lot of the points she made in that video was, oh, she felt like she was doing the same thing over and over again. She just didn't feel like she was, getting excited for like life and work, and it felt boring, and it was like not necessarily easy, but it just felt like she was doing the same thing over and over again. And I've heard that sentiment from a lot of people about being an influencer. And I think the issue is the idea that people think being an influencer is a job that you can just sort of step into. I don't know, let me explain what that means. I went to college, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree, and I was earning more money as an influencer when I first, started, and I quit my job at a nonprofit to do this full time. But my end goal wasn't to be an influencer. In fact, how I became an influencer was I started sharing things I was passionate about, with the end goal of doing something with that. And along the way, influence came from it. So the idea that people start thinking influencing is a job, it's just weird to me, because you share your passions online. That's how your favorite influencers become influencers. Whether they start sharing comedy videos, or they start sharing their favorite makeup brands and makeup tips, or they start sharing how they excel at this particular thing, you sell something, or you're sharing something about your passions. People see that passion and want to follow you because they're influenced by how excited you are about the things you're sharing, and they want to learn from it and then do whatever they want to do with it. Because of that, it shouldn't be boring. Right? And I was explaining it shouldn't be boring, because you can do more with your passion. Like if you want to do makeup, then you can create a nonprofit for young girls who can't afford makeup. You can go to school to do X, Y, and Z with it. You can create your own makeup brand, work with different makeup companies. If you're a comedian, you can start going on tour, join the Daily Show. I don't know, like there's so much to do where the influencing isn't the cap. it's just the byproduct of the thing that you're sharing about your life that people enjoy that will catapult you to the things you want to do for yourself. Does that make sense? So I don't like that she said, like people will start talking about how being an influencer is like this or that, because you're creating your own world. You have the capacity now to create the life you want for yourself based off people buying in to the things that you enjoy and you want to do. Capitalize on that. Don't go work for somebody else, but if you want to, of course, do it. But
Social media has paid me better than any job that I could have gotten right out of college ever would have. I'm aware of the privilege and the opportunities that this job brings, but here are my reasons why I've decided that this is not what I want to do full time. Number one, I'm tired of making everything about myself. My job requires me to look at myself and talk about what I think or what I did. And then I post myself, and then I reply to comments about myself. It also means that when I'm out with my friends or when I go get coffee or when I go do anything with my life, I have to take time out of my day to take a picture of me or to take a video of me. I hate that. It is way too much of a self-obsessive job. I understand the benefits and I understand the fun in it. So I've done it for 3 years, but I'm so tired of it. Number two, I don't feel like I'm learning anything new or like I'm being challenged. Yes, I could always get better at strategy, at marketing. How can I make a video go viral? How can I get more views? How can I edit better? But I feel like that just gets a little bit repetitive. I know that I'm capable of learning and growing, and I feel like since I graduated and I've done this full time, I haven't done anything with my brain. The most brain exercise that I've gotten since May is reading. And number three, having this as my full-time job has made me a lot more superficial. First reason is the fact that on TikTok, you have to talk in short sentences. I have had to learn to not elaborate on my ideas, which for years of my academic life, I was taught to elaborate on points, make your claim. TikTok has kind of brainwashed me into just giving blurbs with zero explanation, because the less that you explain, the shorter the video, the more comments that you'll get asking questions. And humans are creatures of habit. So I've gotten in the habit of giving less information because that's how I have to talk every time that I turn on this camera for my job, which, because it's my full-time job, I take very seriously. And also because this is my job, this job is based solely on marketing, which means what do people want? And all that anybody wants is products. So I say it's made me a little bit more superficial because I've had to shift my attention and my focus towards thinking about marketing for brands, which is fine. But I'm just putting too much of my attention towards that instead of putting my time into actually doing the things that I really enjoy. I feel like I've just lost that part about myself because I'm so focused. I also read a quote recently that said, what you do with your life is determined by what you do with your time. And I realized I'm spending all of my time talking about myself and taking pictures of myself, editing myself. That's not the life I want to live.
All right, so real quick, the way that you are viewing social media and content creation is completely wrong. You're thinking about it from the standpoint of, likes and shares and all these different metrics and, becoming an influencer and all this bullshit. But it's really just a mirror. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Like, this is a very humbling experience if you decide to really take content seriously. Because what this ends up doing is it starts exposing shit about you. Like, not to other people, but I mean to you, personally. It's going to expose your insecurity. So maybe you don't like the way that you sound on camera. Maybe you don't like the way that you look on camera and all this other different shit, right? Things that a lot of people really aren't paying attention to. But you, of course, being the creator and you just being who you are, you're going to pay way more attention to little shit like that. But it's also going to expose your discipline, right? Because now, if you're actually willing to take content serious, it's not just about, getting on here whenever you feel inspired and shit like that. You actually have to show up every single day, because if you don't get it done, it's not like a 9 to 5 where it's like, hey, I can show up here and bullshit and I'm going to get the results that I want. It's like, nah, bro, if I don't do this shit, then nothing works. nothing will ever pop off for me. But it's also going to test out your patience as well, because this isn't some get rich quick shit. You know what I'm saying? Of course, a whole bunch of people, they get on here, they make it look, fun being a full-time content creator. But the truth is, most of us, we've been at this shit for years. It took me 5 years to get to a point where I was like, okay, I can give this a real honest shot. But I say all that to say that being a content creator really isn't just about the content itself. It's low-key just self-development, but disguised. Because you start dealing with a whole bunch of shit internally, things that do and don't matter, and you have to figure out a way to piece all that shit together and then somehow find a way to continuously show up for yourself even when no one's clapping. Like, this shit shouldn't come off as a surprise either, because you're in a situation right now where you're building something brick by brick from zero. You feel what I'm saying? And like, that sounds very similar to what? A business. Exactly. Like, you are ultimately building a business, and a lot of people don't think about it like that. And that's the reason why they don't really survive, because like, they start to slowly understand that, oh, I need to deal with a lot of these things internally. So like, my insecurities and these personal goals that kind of feel out of touch for right now because the journey is so long, dealing with all those things on top of, oh, I actually need to move like a strategist and not just like a regular content creator. All those things become overwhelming, and that's why most people, they end up dropping out. So during that process, like, you're gonna learn a lot about yourself, and that's why I tell people, if you just end this shit for a quick buck, I guarantee it's not gonna be for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna just keep it 100. For the people who are going into it with like more of like an entrepreneurial standpoint or perspective, then I feel like you're gonna be good, because you understand, like, oh, it's supposed to take a little bit longer. I'm supposed to run into these type of hurdles along the way. But yeah, just be prepared for that shit, bro. Like, don't get into this shit if it's not for you.
I've been posting videos almost daily for the past 2 years, making YouTube videos for the past year and a half, almost weekly. I am now suffering from extreme creative burnout. I've been the creative director, the editor, the manager, all of the roles, doing that for 2 years straight and being unable to ask for help. My parents have been willing to help, like, they've said it. The nature of our relationship and the fact that it was mine from the beginning was keeping me from asking for help, and it led me to this place where I didn't want to create anything at all. I took a month off. I planned this whole break where I was like, I'm not gonna make content. All I'm gonna do is have all this content batched, and I'm just gonna post daily. Like, I had all the YouTube videos like uploaded and ready to go, so they would just go up on Sundays. And I thought, okay, after this 4 weeks, I'm gonna come back and everything's gonna be fine. And I came back and I still didn't want to create. The other part of it is that I've had anxiety since college. I have never had depression before I started doing this career. I really started noticing it this year, where like I would just get into these extreme slumps. And so for like the past 6 months, that's kind of been my pattern. Like, I'm in a slump, and then I force myself to make content, and it doesn't feel good, and then I get into another slump again. So that's kind of been my pattern, and I've just been forcing myself, hoping that like I would get over it, creativity would come back, and it hasn't. I do feel a sense of relief of not being in creative control and not doing absolutely everything anymore. It doesn't quite feel good to be completely separate from it. So I think for now, what I'm gonna do is just handle the business side of things. So I'll still be on the account. I'll still be in at least some of the videos. I mean, I'm part of the Beavers. It's just that I am not going to be in full control of everything anymore, which feels like a huge relief to me.
I don't know what's in the water recently, but I've seen like 4 or 5 of these videos talking about full-time influencers going back to get corporate jobs. And this is what I think they're all getting wrong. The reasons for wanting to leave full-time influencing were pretty much the same across the board. Some people said financial reasons, but most people were making more money as a full-time influencer than in their corporate job. They just found they were getting bored, they weren't fulfilled, they didn't find themselves mentally stimulated day to day, and quote unquote felt like they were losing brain cells. And I think that wouldn't be the case if they approached it differently. There are actual scientific reasons for this feeling of losing brain cells. Your brain is an organ, and like most other things in your body, it functions with this use it or lose it capacity. If you are not actively engaging in problem solving and rigorous thinking, your brain is not forming new neural pathways, and it starts to lose cognitive function, which can lead to things like memory loss and brain fog and the feeling of getting dumber. And truly no shade at all, but if your entire day revolves around posting an outfit or sharing a beauty product, and you are not engaging in that rigorous problem solving type of thinking, your brain is unable to stay healthy. Now, the grass is always going to look greener no matter what side of the fence you're standing on. Like if you work a full-time job, chances are you've probably been burned out at one point and wanted to take a break. If you take a break, if you pursue full-time influencing, you get bored. You need that cognitive stimulation. The risk, however, with leaving the full-time workforce is that you may find that you struggle to re-enter it, especially when the market is so hyper-competitive. You've been out of work for long enough that your skills have started to become a little bit obsolete. But my thesis is that there's a world of opportunity that fits squarely in the middle of these two paths. You can use the flexibility and the financial opportunity that comes with being an influencer, but do it in a way that continues to develop your skills and advance your career, which of course is going to provide that mental stimulation that we all need. What I'm coining as the corporate creator will be the people that build a following on social media centered around their existing professional pursuits. Cement their reputation as a thought leader, they'll keep building their professional skills, and they'll build a second stream of income that allows them the flexibility to take the breaks from the corporate career when they're feeling burnt out and give them an easier time finding a new job when they do decide they want to go back to work. Like, just imagine being able to structure your life differently year by year, getting to choose how you work and for who you work and in what ways you work and when you work, and being able to structure that depending on your stage of life and your goals at that time.
But me, I think why most of the influencers are quitting a full-time content creation is because most of them sometimes don't make enough research on what is needed when you are trying to be a full-time content creator. Some people think that it's just something so easy. You just get in, you get money, and life changes and nothing will ever change. You'll be receiving money, which is not the case. Life is not easy everywhere you go. If you choose to take on a normal job, life will not be easy. If you choose to be a full-time content creator, life will not be easy. You need to understand what you are going to do and what is required of you in case things are not working out well. Because when you get to know that, it helps you to make a decision on what exactly you can handle. And I think most people get into content creation not knowing exactly if they can really handle being full-time content creators. Because in most cases, I've realized most of the people who quit full-time content creation to get normal jobs are people who are really built sometimes to be having normal jobs. Because in life, there are people who cannot really manage being business people. They cannot manage being full-time content creators, and that is okay. So in most cases, you need to understand who you are, because if you cannot handle being a business person, in most cases you cannot even handle being a full-time content creator, because this is full of uncertainties. Because full-time content creation is full of uncertainties. It's like business. One day you have money, the next day you don't have money. You're just hoping to get money, and that is what happens when it comes to content creation. But when it comes to normal jobs, in most cases, you are very sure that at the end of the month, you're going to get a certain amount of money for a certain period of time. The only thing you have to do is to report to work every day and do your work. And so some people really need that sense of security for their life to go on smoothly without any frustration. And if you are that kind of person, I think it's better not to choose full-time content creation. And I think that is why some people are quitting full-time content creation, because they have realized that they cannot handle uncertainties when it comes to finances. Because some influencers are always saying that sometimes the brand deals they get, they are not paid in time, and sometimes they have bills to pay, they have things to do with their finances, but they end up getting frustrated when they are not paid in time, and this alone frustrates them, and that is why some of them are quitting full-time content creation. And others are quitting because they realize that the pressure is too much for them, because every day you are supposed to figure out how to make content which can help you to get money, and sometimes it's not obvious that you're going to get good content that is going to help you get money. And this is so frustrating when it comes to content creation, and this alone has made many people to quit a full-time content creation, and they are choosing to find normal jobs for their peace of mind. And also, some influencers are quitting full-time content creation because their numbers have dropped and their engagement has dropped. Because what you have to understand, in most cases, your numbers determine how much money you're going to earn, and also your engagement determines how much money you're going to earn. So sometimes such influencers, when their numbers and engagement drops, they end up losing hope. They end up thinking that they will never earn money again, and the only solution they can be having at that particular point of time is to quit content creation to get a normal job. Because in most cases, you realize as adults, sometimes we need to pay bills, we need to take care of ourselves, and so sometimes such influencers make a decision to just look for a normal job, because sometimes it's not easy to get back the big engagement and big numbers, and that is why I think some of them just choose to let go. And also, you have to realize that some influencers are quitting a full-time content creation to get normal jobs because of their mental health. Because sometimes the mental health of some influencers is affected negatively on social media. You realize that sometimes they face a lot of negativity on social media, and again, sometimes some influencers are working so hard every day of their lives to impress the people on social media, which is not really good for someone's mental health, because you cannot impress people enough, which is not very good for someone's mental health. And I think this alone frustrates them so much, and that is why you end up seeing some influencers quitting full-time content creation and choosing to get normal jobs because they don't want to affect their mental health in a negative way. And that's it for today, guys. And being your girl Joan as always. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you are watching right now and you also know why influencers are quitting full-time content creation to get normal jobs, please share your thoughts in the comment section.